we'll get this kicked off here. As I said, I'm Joe Dunbar with Starin. I'm one of our sales engineers and work on our services team. We're here at our town hall today, Tuesday, September 12th, with our friends at Kramer, doing a lot of great stuff. We've got a couple people with Kramer with us today. So Mike Lewis, who's the director of distribution. We've got Jordan Cosby in the background as well, who's the director of sales, and Jeta, I hope I don't butcher this, but Jeta Olokpa, who's the senior director of distribution, also in the background. So they're helping answer some of the questions today. Just a little bit of housekeeping before I hand it over to Mike and the team to kind of kick things off and introduce themselves. If you guys have questions, please go ahead and throw them in the Q&A section, and we'll make sure to either mark those, and we really try to work those into the conversation as much as we can. So throw them at us while you're thinking about them, and we'll put them in where they make sense. And anything that doesn't, we can take a look at the end. If we can't answer it right in the discussion there. And then beyond that, please go ahead and get engaged in the chat. Let us know where you're dialing in from, what the weather's like. I'm right here in the Black Hills of South Dakota at the moment, and it is a beautiful but little breezy day. The sun is shining. And we've got Mike Lewis. You said you're in North Carolina, Mike. You go ahead and introduce yourself and kick this thing off.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm Mike Lewis with Kramer Electronics. I'm originally an East Coast guy. I saw my New York Giants get the beat down on their life last Sunday night, which was demoralizing because I was in the room with a bunch of Dallas fans. And so I left pretty much 5 minutes into the third quarter because I couldn't take any more humbling. But anyway, I've been with Kramer 20 years. So I also consider myself the company fossil. I've been around a long time. And but I enjoy working for this team. It's very, very exciting, and it's never boring. So I'm going to kick this off today and hopefully give you some great insights about Kramer Electronics, and to maybe surprise you a little bit with some of the things that we got going on right now. So here we go. I want you to know that
I just got to say, at least you're not a Jets fan, because that was a rough start, right?
Oh, yeah. So with Aaron Rodgers, torn Achilles, their season's over after 4 snaps. I don't know what to tell you.
So you're doing okay. You're doing okay, buddy. Why don't you, I had to throw it out there. Why don't you tell us what the latest and greatest is from Kramer? I'm excited to see.
Unbelievable. So I want you all to know that I have empathy for every single one of you. This is not going to be another death by PowerPoint presentation. I took this as a challenge, and I tried to mix it up with a few things, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. I found a catchy phrase that I wanted to share with all of us because I think we all are trying to always look for the next best opportunity in Pro AV so that we can, always advance our efforts in Pro AV. And the catchy phrase is this: it's not about having the right Pro AV opportunity. It's about handling the opportunities right. And when you partner with Kramer, that's what we're all about. We're about handling the opportunities correctly. And one of the things I want to show you is you can have a lot of confidence in Kramer now because we have become a complete end-to-end solutions company. So I'm going to share my little screen here. Share, you should be seeing it now.
Wonderful.
Okay, great. So one of the things why you can be confident about doing this with Kramer is because we've become a complete end-to-end solutions company. And I wanted to show you, can you see this homepage?
We got you, yep.
Great. So I'm not going to have your brain smoke by trying to get 19 product categories committed to memory. But I want you to know this is why, after 20 years, I can say that we're a complete end-to-end solutions company, because you can see all of these categories that we cover. So just about anything that you need inside the Pro AV space, minus the furniture, the displays, the projector, and that type of thing, we don't do. But everything else to get the functionality that you're looking for, we really are right there. So why should you care that we're now a complete end-to-end solutions company? I'll give you 3 reasons. Reason number 1 is we're going to make your life a whole lot easier. You can bounce around from manufacturer to manufacturer and pull this and pull that. But at the end of the day, we all know it's not best practice to have a mishmash of variety of manufacturing devices in one application. You're asking for a disaster, and no one's going to help you to support that when you run into trouble. So number 1, we make your life easier. That's why you should care. We're an end-to-end company. Number two, we have been in business now for 45 years. And I think by now we know what we're doing in Pro AV. Okay, we know about the best practices. We know what you're looking for. We know about all the pain points. And when we do make a mistake, if we do fumble the ball, we are right there to help pick it up and navigate through all the issues so that you're satisfied, because we know that this is just not a one-hit thing. We want you guys to come back to us over and over and over again. And the third reason why you should care that we're a end-to-end solutions company is that we are super easy to do business with when it comes to pricing, cross-referencing, doing cross-referencing competitive products, sending out demos, helping you get to a $10,000 minimum level so that you can register the project and get even more margin, up to 10% off dealer price when you register $50,000 projects. You just saw that you can still see all those products on that screen. You can see that you can really get to $10,000 really easily if you keep it Kramer. So one of the things I'm pretty proud of is this video that we made about the company. So I'll pause for a second and I'll let you enjoy the video, and I'll be right back.
We are Kramer, and we are redefining how people engage with the world. Our technology powers creativity, productivity, expression, and connection. And our people are the cornerstone of that promise. We're never satisfied with the status quo. We question things and don't believe that just because things have been done that way in the past, they'll stay that way in the future. We show up with chutzpah and challenge, not simply to disrupt, but to drive improvement and progress. We trust each other. We empower each other. We speak from the heart, and we always go the extra mile for colleagues and customers. We don't believe in closed doors and outdated hierarchies, because diversity and transparency are essential for cutting-edge problem solving. Our vision for the future calls for fantastic thinkers and doers from all corners of the world and all walks of life. We bravely share our mistakes and our successes. Kramer is a place where people, ideas, and technology come together, creating engaging connections, vibrant experiences, and real human impact. We are Kramer.
So hopefully you enjoyed that and got a little insight about the type of company Kramer is. And so that is one of the reasons that I wanted to tell you about how we're a complete end-to-end solutions company. The second point that I want to drive home today is that Kramer has been recognized as a worldwide leader in HDMI and in USB connectivity. And this is our Connect catalog, what we call Kramer Connect. And just a few words about this. Number one, before I get off into all the different things about it, on August 15th, Kramer reduced their MSRP margins by 15%. Okay? You guys normally get 45% off MSRP, and that MSRP was just reduced by 15%. Kramer right now is probably one of the best priced product line in the entire marketplace. This product catalog will show you the diversity that we have. And I'm not going to blow your brains up with all these different model numbers and so forth, but we have the USB 3.2, and every category that you can imagine is here in our product catalog. So after this call, you can hit any of our guys up, and I'm happy to share this with you. But in this presentation, I'm going to tell you things, and I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to ask why you should care. Why should you care that we have one of the best priced cabling product assemblies in the industry? Well, number one, all Kramer passive cables come with a lifetime warranty. So if it doesn't have an active chipset in it, and it's just a passive HDMI or USB cable, and if by chance something goes wrong, you tell us, we'll send you another one, no questions asked. So that's number one reason. Another reason why you should care that we're a recognized cabling leader is because you can make a ton of money on our cables based on what I just told you with the MSRP reduction, and also the fact that our KRP gives you an additional 10% off dealer price. So you can do the math and see if you're already getting 45% off plus another 10, that's 55% margin if you sell it at list price, but it gives you plenty of margin to help you win the deal. And I think that the registration program is a great way to protect you for leading with Kramer, and we encourage you to take advantage of that. The third reason why you should care that we're a worldwide leader in cabling is that we take our inventory super serious. During the pandemic, we were doing Crestron flips left and right. Do you have this? Do you have that? I'm just going to attribute it to the great procurement team in Tel Aviv, Israel. And those guys did a fantastic job then, and they continue to do a fantastic job now. I will tell you, being with the company 20 years, our fill rate is amazing. If you put it in order by I would say about 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 95% of the time it's going to get shipped out the same day. If it doesn't get shipped out the same day because you missed a cutoff, it'll get shipped out the next day. And if it's back ordered, we will give you an ETA that you can feel confident with. We tell you it's going to be another 10 days or 3 weeks. You can hang a hat on that. We're not going to keep pushing it out and pushing it out. We take a lot of pride in that, in the availability of our product line, especially our cables. And the third reason, yes.
Apologies. I just really wanted to drive that point home for our partners.
Sure.
Is look, availability was a big problem, sort of in some spaces is a little better now, but really more than anything, like USB extension, was a tough thing to come by for a long time and still kind of can be. And Kramer has been a great partner for us to help fulfill, not only fill those gaps, but win a lot of partners over with this guy, A, great inventory, and B, the ability to, be confident in the lead times. When you're talking to your customers and partners, that's very important to be able to give accurate information. So I appreciate you bringing that up and just wanted to drive that home a little more.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. And the third reason why you should care that we're a worldwide leader in these categories is our workmanship and the variety, as I just showed you in the Connect catalog, is amazing. We pretty much have everything you would possibly need for an installation. The third point I wanted to mention, Joe kind of alluded to it, is that we have a market edge on USB-C cables. We have an amazing line of USB-C cables. And I got to tell you that there's 3 reasons why you should care that we have a market edge on USB-C cables. The first reason, number one, and then I'll follow this up with a nice video. The first reason why you should care is that industry experts are saying that USB-C is already outpacing HDMI. Okay, so there's a good possibility that your commercial applications will be using and demanding USB-C because of the benefits that this product has. The market edge that we have is that Kramer is the only, and I mean the only manufacturer that can give you a full-featured USB-C cable, which means we're going to give you 4K 60 444 video plus 10 gigabytes of data and 150 watts of charging up to 150 feet. So you can see that only the other competitors might go up to maybe 10 feet, but that's it. But Kramer has figured out a way with our amazing engineers to get this to 150 feet. The other thing that we have is a very unique feature in the cable that we started a few years ago. It's called K-Lock. Now we have this on our HDMI, okay? And you've probably seen this around. But one of the reasons why this is a fine cable is because this HDMI cable gives you an additional 15 pounds of pulling pressure because of these little tabs in there. And if you're using this and you're wondering, oh, I don't want 15 pounds of pulling pressure for some reason, maybe it's going in through a table box and you want to be able to disconnect it without the resistance, all you have to do is push these in, and then that makes the resistance go away. But in the back of a rack, that 15 pounds is amazing. So the challenge is, guys, is how do we take this and put it on a USB-C connector? Well, that's not going to be easy to do because the USB-C connector is pretty small. And you can see that we can't put tabs on the outside of that. So what did we do? We figured out a way to do it in the inside. I don't know if you can see from the camera, but all of this, the K-lock is put into the USB-C connector, and we provide 4 times the connecting pulling strength that any of our competitors have. So we can give you a full feature at 150 feet, and we give you a locking cable that nobody else has. So those are the 2 reasons why we have a market edge. And if you don't believe me, there you go. This is not some kind of hocus pocus. My name is Michael, not Merlin. I'm not doing a magic trick right now. This thing is really holding this product, which is about 2 or 3 pounds. But you get the idea that it has some tremendous holding power. So with that, let's go back to this and we will watch. Nope, we saw that one already. USB-C cable. I should have showed you that earlier. We'll watch this one first. This is about our connectivity. Yeah, so that video gave you a nice overview of the product category that we have in the entire cable assembly family. So, and the workmanship, the variety, and so forth. But now I want to transition a little bit here into USB-C. And this very short video will give you a good idea of the market edge that we have and the problems that USB-C solves. there's a little clip about the USB-C. Kramer's really excited about it. And we pretty much have gone all in on a lot of different products. Here's another example of it. We have this beautiful wall plate that has a USB-C connecting on it. This is actually a HD-Base-T transmitter. It's a beautiful styled wall plate, two-gang wall plate that fits in any decor, back box. And we also have this in white as well. It's really one of the new products that we have. And just to show you a little something here from the USB-C catalog. Yeah, I'm on it already. Now, if I drill down here, you see a lot of the things that you saw in the video, but I just wanted to point out that our competition really is right here, okay? What separates the competition from Kramer right now is the K-Lock. Anybody can give you a USB-C. You can go to Amazon, go anywhere. You can get a USB-C cable, 3 foot, 6 foot all day long, okay? But none of them will have the locking K-Lock inside. Where the rubber meets the road is when you start to get to 10 and 15 foot. There's our active cable, and you're really going to appreciate the K-Lock once you start getting length there. And then we have these longer ones that are active optical cables that go up to 150 feet. So that is really some great information in regards to why choose the Kramer USB-C cable as this technology becomes more and more popular in our industry. So how can you actually, yep. Go ahead, Joe.
I just want to point out a couple things, man. I love the information. Also, great visuals from the marketing team. The feedback that we've gotten from people in the field who have used a lot of these solutions and switched some of their cabling business over to us here, we're working with Kramer. The K-Lock has definitely become an important factor, especially as more equipment is getting installed in credenzas and furniture, more so than a traditional AV rack, because they get cleaning people who come in and move things around, or somebody who just thinks they're going to plug in something and starts moving things around, and I've had to make service calls because of a disconnected cable or something like that. So for the same kind of money, to get a little extra thought and is really important for our partners, for sure. And another thing I know that we've gotten great feedback on is the consideration for pulling these cables. A lot of active cables come with big fat heads on them that, if you have to pull through any kind of conduit or channel or anything like that, can be very difficult. And Kramer's done a great job of considering that and making sure to make that as easy as possible, either by using an adaptive head end or a smaller cable end if they can. So a lot of great feedback from the field with regard to these designs.
Great, I appreciate that, Joe. And just to follow up on what you said about the conduit part, all of those active cables, if you're pulling it through conduit, the heads are metal, they're detachable, and they come with a little capsule with an eye on the end. So you put the capsule over the mini HDMI, you pull it through the conduit, you remove the capsule, put the main head back on, and then screw it down. So it solves so much problems in the field, and Joe pointing that out is appreciated because it's something that kind of separates us from the field. So how can you actually sell cables? Well, the best way to sell cables is to ask. If you have a customer that has a conference room, a boardroom, a huddle space, just ask what they're satisfied with. Are they happy with all of the cables that they have? I mean, you might even say, are you going to be using all of the inputs that are available in bill of materials? So if they have a projector, they have a Blu-ray player, they have a camera, a computer, whatever it might be, are they planning on using all of the enable connectivity in that space? If they say yes, well then, are your cables long enough, and so forth. So find out the cable type. This is how you can sell cables. Find out the cable type, ask what length they need to be, find out if they need to be in-wall rated or plenum rated, because every city is different. It's a huge, huge thing. So please, if you don't remember everything I say, just find out in-wall rated or plenum rated. The pricing is double. If it's in-wall rated, it's fine. If it's plenum rated, basically double the price, okay? Because some cities are very strict about that. And then all cables are not created equally. So I want you to know that me and my team are happy to send out free cable samples. You just name it. You go to Joe, go to some of his salespeople there at Starin, say, Mike, we don't want you to send this someplace and let this guy check this out. He wants to make sure it's really good. Then we'll do that. Okay, moving on to the fourth area of this presentation. I wanted to talk about AV over IP. So what exactly is AV over IP? Most of you probably know that it's a transmission of audio, video, and control signals over an existing IP infrastructure like a WAN network, a LAN network, or a 5G network. And unlike traditional AV environments, AV over IP is using the standard equipment to switch video and audio signals. Why should you care about that? Because the integrators are always, like you guys, are always looking for ways to save time and money. So why in the world would you pull new cable in a building if the building already gives you access to network categories cable? Hopefully it's shielded. If not, it'll still work, but best practice is shielded. And use the existing cable. It'll save you all kind of time and money by using the existing cable. Additionally, AV over IP provides 3 distinct advantages of AV over IP. Number one, it is the distance. There's no limit on the AV over IP distance. If your network goes 100 miles, AV over IP will follow it as long as the network can go, okay? So there's no limitation on distance. Number two, it can be scaled, all right? So it can grow with the customer, all right? And it's very, very flexible. The AV over IP distance can reach any network, can go along with any network. There's no limitation on the number of devices. So for example, I'll just click back over to the presentation here. This is what the AV over IP KDS segment looks like in a rack. So, you can see you have encoders and decoders depending on what the setup is, and it's extremely flexible. Now, the form factors in these things are really, really nice. One of the things that separates Kramer from the pack is that we put this little LED window on the front, so it'll tell you what it's connected to. When you're way down in the building and you're trying to connect the category cable to a decoder, it's really helpful to know which one you're connecting to, and you can cycle through it so that you can get to the right connector. We're one of the only manufacturers that give that little window. We're also one of the only manufacturers that give you a wall plate switching encoder. And this is great. And this next picture will show you, this is the decoder up close. You can see the different ports that it has. And this is what's beautiful about having the wall plate, because if you want the wall plate right here, and usually the decoder goes behind the display, then if you want to come up, maybe this is next to a bookshelf or a desk or something like that, you can simply plug that in, and then you're live right there on the display. So there are 3 basic components to the AV over IP system. There's decoders, encoders, and the network switch. So if you need more encoders, you just add them. If you need more decoders, you just add them. If you need another network switch, you just add it. And that's the beautiful thing about AV over IP. And so where is it being used? You're finding it in sports bars, casinos, security systems, digital signage, hotels, arrival and departure monitors in airports, and obviously video walls. It's a great thing to ask the customer, because if you're going, I'll tell you a couple tips. How can you sell the AV over IP? When is the right time to transition over from the traditional matrix switcher, which Kramer sells? This is a modular matrix switcher, but it's fixed. You can get this in an 8x8, a 16x16, 32x32, or 64x64. But but it's all hardwire cabling, okay? And you have to have inputs and output modules and that type of thing. And in certain situations, we still sell these because that's all that they really want. But how can you actually sell an AV over IP system? Well, the first thing you have to do is choose your codecs. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but there's 3 different compression schemes that come with AV over IP. For the purposes of our industry, JPEG 2000 covers 80% of the application. So there's JPEG 2000. We also have the H.264, 265, which is basically the Netflix world. of where AV over IP is being used. And then we have the SVDOE, which is a zero latency situation. And that usually is what the customer needs in live broadcasting, where they can't have any kind of latency, where latency has to be zero. So when should you start thinking about plugging in or recommending AV over IP? Well, typically, in my world, in my experience, if there are 8 or less displays, then you could probably just sell them a basic matrix switcher, especially if there's no plans to expand. Because the last thing you want to do is not ask the question and the customer assume that they could expand on a fixed matrix system and they can't. Okay, then they're going to be annoyed that you didn't recommend that. So if there's no plans to expand the system, it's 8 or less displays, you could pretty much go with a 4x4, whatever it is, 6x6 or 8x8 matrix switcher. That'll save them time and money and basically go to old school. Once you go beyond 8 displays, perhaps 16, 32, or 64, I would start thinking about seriously AV over IP, especially if they're not sure. If they just say, yes, there's better than a 50% chance that I'm going to expand this system, man, they're going to love you if you tell them use AV over IP, because now they're going to spend their money right the first time and not regret buying something that they shouldn't have gotten in the first place. So this is the pictures of the basic matrix switcher. You can see from here that there is a lot better form factor with the AV over IP, and you can even add wireless in the AV over IP system if you'd like to do that as well.
Hey, Mike, we are getting one question. So you talked about the encoders, the decoders, and the network switch. Some AV over IP manufacturers end up having in their system a specific, it's not a decoder and encoder, but a specific endpoint that is like a management tool piece that opens expandability.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit? That did come in a question.
Yeah. We have a manager. It's sold as a separate component, and you can use that to control all the inputs and endpoints and inputs and endpoints as well, the ports and all the inputs. So the manager is something that's software driven, and it'll give you basically a virtual matrix of what the system is looking like. If let's say the customer doesn't want that on his network, you can use a separate manager to do that.
Awesome. Or if a system's getting larger and deploying all those endpoints becomes a little bit easier with that manager then?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Thank you.
Exactly. Okay, moving right along. The fifth area that I wanted to bring out today is the Series 3. And the Series 3 is basically Kramer's bread and butter. The stuff that we've been known for 45 years is what we also call the AV signal management. When we introduced this in Infocom, we introduced an entire series that come under the Series 3 product line. I'm going to play a little video to get you excited about it. But basically, the Series 3 is consisted of matrix switchers, extenders, distribution amplifiers, and multi-viewers. And then the video will give you an idea of why I'm so excited about this after being with the company for so long. This is a great step forward. It is a beautiful line of products, and I can tell you that we're really proud of it. And one of the things that is great about Series 3 is that they have a commonality of features. They have USB-C full featured, they have fast switching, they have PoE, and they usually will have, depending on the type of product it is, HD base T 3.0. Okay, so if there are a certain level of requirements that keep raising and raising the bar, the reason why I'm mentioning Series 3 is that you can come to our website, and if you see the Series 3 label on the product, it already has all those commonalities. Almost like the way car manufacturers sell certain features in a car as standard, those things come standard in the Series 3. So how can you actually sell a Series 3 product? Well, I got a few thoughts on that as well, okay? And there's a few ways you can back into that. Now, obviously, if it was real easy in a perfect world, someone would say, oh, I want a Series 3 Kramer product. That would be great. But we know that doesn't happen. But what people do ask for is they usually ask for things by description. I think all of you would pretty much agree with me with that. People ask for matrix switches. I think I need a matrix switcher. I think I need an extender. I think I need a distribution amplifier, some type of multi-viewer, and so forth. So usually people ask for products by description. One way you can back into it and help, get questions answered is using our beautiful Designing Spaces brochure. What this is a short PDF of applications that show the products in use. Well, here you see a camera, you see the Kramer speakerphone, here you see the VIA, and as we get more complex, obviously this brochure is a bit older, so instead of this one being seen here, it'll be a Series 3 product. Okay, but you can see what they're doing here is you have a wired application here, and you have a T-bus hardwire enclosure in the tabletop. So you can see that as you go through this, that was a hardwire one. We have wired and wireless. Okay. Now here ones that more probably more appropriate for you guys, the simple hybrid classroom, and we can switch all this out. Okay, but we're just showing you how a lot of these things and the flow of it would work. And so what I would recommend is, get your hands on this document. Happy to share it with everybody, and send it to your customer and say, look, check out some of these bundles that are in this PDF, and let's start the conversation. Maybe the closest one is the divisible room bundle. This gets me, that's 50% close. Okay, let's dissect it, and we can get back into it. So that's one way of selling AVSM and Series 3 product. Another way is cross-referencing. We do that all day long. People ask for Crestron or Extron. Maybe they're backordered, or maybe they're just not happy with it, or maybe they're just looking for an alternative. We do everything they do. I like to think a little bit better. Okay, so we'll do the cross references, and that's another way where you can sell Series 3. In conclusion, as I start to wrap this up, there are one couple more points I wanted to tell you about, and there are 5 questions you should be asking for you new people to Pro AV, that you should be asking if you are selling Pro AV. I don't remember if I had a slide for this or not. Oh, I'll get to that in a second. Basically, the 5 questions are: number 1, ask about the cables. We talked about that. Number 2, ask about audio, because nobody is into silent movies anymore. Everybody wants to hear what is being seen, right? Kramer has a full line of speakers, DSPs, amplifiers, you name it. And the more you keep a Kramer, the higher you get that value of the opportunity, the more money you're going to make. So ask about the cables, ask about the audio, ask about the wireless control. I didn't even get into that because we would be here another 3 days if I told you about all the fantastic features that VIA can offer you. But if you're a barcode guy and Airtame, Air Media, the VIA is right there with all of them, and in most cases even better with the new 4.0 improvement to VIA. So that's another thing. Ask about if they're a wireless component. And then maybe you have to ask how the room is being controlled. We have a complete control system and Kramer Academy that's on our website. And it's as simple as going over here and clicking on Kramer Academy. So if I've blown you away or bored you, hopefully not, with the content that I'm telling you about, and you'd like to go back over this at your own pace, look at all the different modules that you can go into for free, Free, for free, and take any of these modules, AV fundamentals, wireless, switching, AV over IP, control. You can get Kramer Control certified. We do all this for free because we want you guys to be a Kramer advocate as you're selling pro AV systems. And then also, if there's a need for a more secure, we have a whole online room configurator on here that you can make a table box. And I'm happy to knock these out in my sleep. So if you need a table box, we have all kinds of inner frames. There's literally hundreds of configurations. Again, you don't have to worry about doing it. You can just send me an email and say, Mike, I need a table box. You could give me an approximate size. Tell me you need power, USB-C, whatever connectivity you need in it. I'll give you some phenomenal options. So that's another great thing. And then last but not least, you're going to make money on our KRP. Now, with resellers, there's another level here. It's actually 10%. This is basically for distributors. But with resellers, there's another level here. So it's up to 10%. So the whole point in showing you this is that you can simply go to this online form, click on it, submit it, and the RSM that works your territory will be the one to help you out and help you get that project registered. So I hope that was informative, and I'll leave it now for a few questions if you guys have any questions.
That was awesome, Mike. Thank you. We knocked out a couple of questions on the way through, and that was kind of everything that came in. So great job. I do, you touched on Kramer Academy, and I just want to say I have a lot of customers looking for easier to install, easier to deploy, easier to configure control solutions. Kramer Control is a great way to do that. And when people want to get introduced to it from our end, I generally take them to the Kramer Academy, have them going through the control portions of that, the available content there. It's relatively brief, and it gives you a really great overview of what Kramer Control is all about, how it works, what's available with it. So, definitely do not sleep on Kramer Academy. I've gone through a lot of those modules myself to get more familiar with some of the solutions that I haven't had a chance to put my hands on specifically. So I appreciate you bringing that out. Certainly, if anyone has any questions before we depart here, feel free to throw them in the Q&A. If you've done a webinar, town hall with us before, you know that we like to do some giveaways here. So for those of you who stuck around with us, I really want to say thanks for your time. Thanks to the team at Kramer. There's a couple of Amazon gift cards. Looks like there's 4 $25 Amazon gift cards going out the door. It looks Carl Howell, Dennis Dunrud, hopefully I got that right, Tyler Kurland, and Lisa Ratliff. Thanks so much for sticking with us. You were all selected as winners by the random generator, and I was given that information. So we will get in touch with you to make sure that you get that information. Mike, it doesn't look like you did a great job. It doesn't look like there are any questions pouring in at the end here. So I just really want to say thank you so much for your time. Are you on LinkedIn, Mike? Can people find you there and connect with you there?
I am.
Awesome.
You can find me. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, please be sure to hook up with us on LinkedIn. If you have any questions about the Kramer solutions that you saw today, reach out to your team at Starin. I'm available. Your salespeople are available, and we definitely would love to talk to you further about it. And with that, we'll say thanks for joining, and everyone have a great afternoon.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.